Hi there. If you're thinking about a poultry business or if you're already running a poultry business, this video is for you. Good to have you watching this video, but before I get started, before I get carried away, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bar so that you're able to keep up with all the videos that I'll be sharing. So sometime last year, actually last year in December, I shared a video about poultry farming where I was at the farm and I talked through sort of like the highlights of what this business is like. And since then, I've had so many questions from different people that have watched this video, asking questions like how do they get started, how much money do they need, and things like that. So I decided to put a document together for you that will be your silver bullet for this sort of business. Now, you might be wondering that what gives me the authority to talk about this sort of business. So let me tell you this. My family and I have been in this poultry business for over 7 years. Right now, our farm has the capacity of 57,000 birds. So I understand the business inside and out. All right, and this is not just poultry business, poultry for meat, but actually also layers. So I understand layers business, the poultry for meat business, and broilers. If you haven't watched that video, you can just click up here. You should be able to pick that video, and I'll also put the link in the description below, so you're able to catch up and see exactly what I talked about. It will be good for you to start from that video before you get into what I will be talking about right now. Since that video, I have had so many people asking me all sorts of questions like how will they get started, what do they need to get started. So I decided to put together a silver bullet that will be a key element for your success in this business. This business plan is going to help you answer questions like how much money do I need to get started, how much cash will you have at any one time in your business, how much profit would you be looking at making, how long will it take for you to be paid back, to get your money, to get your investment back, and when you will be able to break even. Now, all these are some of the questions that this document will be able to answer. And without wasting too much time, let's get onto my computer where you will be able to see what this document has for you. Now, in this business, we're looking at a business that is going to start off, we're using an assumption that you start off with 500 birds and you'll be doubling them second year, doing 1,000 birds and 2,000 birds for the third year. All right, so the plan is a 3-year plan, okay? So here we have the assumption of what the price of the mature bird will be. And you need to keep in mind that these birds take averagely 6 weeks. Anything after 6 weeks, you're going to be making losses because then you'll be losing money. The feeds are quite costly. Now, in a year, we do 7 batches, okay? And then, all right, let's go. You have the number of birds that are sold in a year. We go on. Here we show you what costs you're going to spend on, that is inputs, and we do it on 1,000 birds so that you're able to convert that into per bird when you're doing your math. Now we have salaries, what stuff you'll have at the farm. Then we go on down, we give you the operating expenses that you're going to incur at the farm. That is things like water, salaries, lighting, repairs, all that is taken care of. We go down and look at the annual expenses that you expect to have. We look at the fixed assets, land, building. Now, in this particular example, we're taking an assumption that you already have the land, so you're not going to spend on land. Then we also look at building. You're going to spend about 7 million to build chicken house. Then we look at the farm equipment that you're going to spend money on. Then scroll down, look at what else are we looking at? We look at, well, yeah, there's a lot of details in here that gives you everything. Taxes, if you're going to get a bank loan, you'll be entering the bank loan there. Now we go and look at how much money would you need for you to start this sort of business where you're going to start off with 500 birds and then double them to 1,000 in the second year and 2,000 in the third year. So to start off, you'd need about 12 million. About 12.8 million for you to get started. And if you have a loan, then we'll be able to factor in the loan in this bank loan amortization, but you don't have a loan for this particular business. Then we look at something like the cash flow. So the cash flow is able to give you an idea of what sort of cash you will have at any one point. So in this business, if you look at the closing balances, for the first year, you're going to have a positive cash flow. So you're going to end the year with about 10 million. Then we look down at the second year. Still, you're going to have a negative cash flow in the first month of the second year. because again but then you'll be able to close the year with about 16 million. All right, so which means in this particular month 13, you're going to have to look for some cash, about 2.1 million, for you to be able to continue running the business. Then we go to the third year. We have a couple of months where you'll have negative balances on your account, so you'll need to put in some cash, but you'll end the year with 40 million. And if we look at the income statement, which tells you how profitable your business is going to be, it shows you that in the first year you'll be making a profit of about 4.4 million, then it goes to 11 million in the second year and 24 million in the third year. All right, now let me just jump. So all these different documents, all these different cells are different information, like the revenue and expenses. It gives you the monthly overlook in terms of how profitable your business is going to be. The blue shows you how much money you're going to be bringing in, how much, the orange is how much money you're spending. You can clearly see for the first year, second year, third year, for every month you're going to be in positives, right? You're going to have spending about 3.5 million per month in the first year, no, making about 3.5 million, spending about 2.8 million, 7 million in the second year, spending about 5, 14 in the third year, spending about 10, you know. And if you look at the total annual revenues per year, you'll be rolling in about 42 million in the first year, 84 million in the second year, 168 million in the third year. Now let's go down to the balance sheet. So the balance sheet also sort of like gives you a proper overview of your business. I think this is a positive business. It looks pretty decent. And if I go down to depreciation, this is for the equipment and the building. The buildings we've counted for about 10 years and 3 years for the equipment. Payback period, how long will it take for you to be able to recoup your money, get your money back? For this particular example that we've looked at, for your 12.8 million that you're going to put in as your initial investment, you'll be able to recoup it within the first 2 years. To be precise, it will actually be about 1 year and say 4 months, something like that. Yeah, so then we look at the break-even analysis. How many birds do you need to sell in a year for you to be able to recoup the money? So according to these numbers, you need to sell about 71 more birds. So if you increased the number of birds a little bit in the first year, you would be able to recoup your money. Let me show you an example. Okay, so we've looked at 500 birds in the first year. You would need about 12.8 million. If I change that up here, if I change that and I say you're going to start off the first year with 1,000 birds, let me show you the interesting bit about a document like this. So this shows you now what your startup cost is going to be if you start off with 1,000 birds. So now from 12 million, we've now jumped to 17.7 million. All right. And if I jump to your income statement, it will show you earlier. It showed that we'll be making about what, 4 million in the first year. Now you're at 12.9 million in net profit after taxes in the first year. The second year hasn't changed much because we've still kept 1,000 birds, 24 again in the third year. So what I'm trying to say is, with this document, you're actually able to, you know, play around with the different assumptions in the business for you to understand what you need to work on. I'll give you another example. Let's look up at mortality rate. So let's assume, you know, the farm is not doing well, the birds are dying. Your mortality rate has bumped up, has doubled to 4.8. You know, you're losing about 4.8 of your stock on a monthly basis. Let's see how that changes things. Now, income statement, earlier on was saying you'll be making about 17 million. See, now you're making 12 million. You're making 11 in the third year. In the second year, you're making 23 in the second year. You've literally lost 5 million by not watching how much birds you're losing. So it's amazing. Or let's say you overfeed the birds, they stay too long, and instead of eating 3.2 kgs for maturity, your birds are eating 3.8. Why? Because they're laying a little bit longer. So let's see how that affects your profitability. Ah, man, it's crazy. So from 11 million, you have dropped to 7 million. All right, you see that? The second year, you've dropped to 6 million. The third year, you've dropped by 50% to 12 million. It was 24 million earlier. And you know where all that is coming from? From you not managing your death and from you not managing the feeds. So at the end of the day, this shows you the key things that you need to keep an eye on. And I can tell you for a fact, in this particular business, these four things: mortality, the price of how much feed you're giving the birds, the price that you're buying the feeds, and the price of the one-day chicks. If you manage these 4 elements properly, I can tell you, you're in for a very good business. All right? Okay. I have shown you, I have just taken you through a sample business plan, financials, for someone who's looking at starting with 500 birds, or it doesn't matter the number of birds that you're looking at starting with. What I can tell you is, with this document, the power that you have, the decisions that you're able to make for your business are unbelievable. And again, I don't only do this for the broiler business. I have this for broilers, layers, croilers as well. So whatever you need, reach out to me. I'll be able to support you. I'm going to put a link in the description of how you can buy this plan for yourself. I'm selling it for very, very cheap. Make a payment, mobile money, whatever payment you're using, will be able to get the plan. You'll get it downloaded when you make the payment. And I'll also offer you 30 minutes of my time to walk you through this document to ensure that you understand whatever you're working on. Now, there will be no excuse for you not to be successful. I want you to be successful. I want you to start this business and know that you started it with someone holding your hand. All right? Even us, when we started, we had people who were helping us get started. And that's what I want from you. Now, before you go off, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't, let me know. Push your comments in the comment section below. Let's engage. Let's see how I can support you as you get started in this poultry business. All right, with that, I'll see you on my next video. Have a good day, good night, or I don't know what time it is wherever you are, and I'll be happy to know what time it is. Go ahead, tell me there. I'll see you in my next video. All right, cheers.